Hello guys, welcome back to this channel where we discuss silver, gold, uranium, platinum, and crypto and commodities. Follow me, YouTube, follow me on Twitter, do your thing. And in this video, I will do the weekly recap, the weekly sum up for commodities. Yes, commodities, gold, silver, and all that good stuff. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. Weekly here for silver. Again, I've cleaned up the charts a bit here during the evening. And basically, we're just, in my view, again, until proven otherwise, we are just coiling here. And with the highest probability, it's going to break at some point in time here in early 2024. We have our support below here. Obviously, that needs to hold, but definitely we have that move up here and then a very long sideways price action. But it is a massive resistance. If you take out, this is the 2011 high. But in my view, this is going to break up like here, just like it did right there. You can see the same thing and here as well. That is my take until proven otherwise. The gold to silver ratio might be a little bit iffy, but we will look at that in just a moment. Again, I want to show you something very important here on the monthly for gold. I want to show you why this move here is just way better than before. You can see here we reached that 2075 with a wick on the monthly there, wick again, but this time forth we're having full bodies on the monthly into that, meaning there's no big sell-off pressure, and that is very nice to see because that also gives a very good indication that this fourth time will actually be the time where we could break through. We might need a little bit of some sort of dribble here, and then we blast higher. But anyways, this attempt, you can see it also on the weekly touch, huge thing, right? Touch and then huge pullback, and same again. And this time around, we're actually staying here without any bigger correction. So that's important to see. Again, I don't expect gold to break out on Monday, but we're definitely getting closer and closer. And my target for gold here in 2024, that is roughly 2,500. I think it has a lot of catching up to do because it didn't do anything for 3.5 years. And normally, gold on average goes up by roughly 10% per year. So it has some catching up to do. The gold to silver ratio, as I mentioned, we're breaking out here to the upside, which is not good for gold and silver. We have this spinning top here, also posted that on Twitter, and now we have a day down here again, retesting that the highs here at roughly 88. Very important. Hopefully we can start to grind lower and lower and lower, but definitely for now, this is probably the most important chart to look for in gold and silver, in the gold and silver space. What happens on the gold and silver actually comes from what is happening here. If we start to resume to the upside here, gold and silver will go down big time. That is my take. You can see how important that breakout is. So this has to be a false breakout. It really, really has to be. Otherwise, also for the markets, crypto doesn't matter. If you have this ratio spiking, that means a lot of lack of liquidity in the system, and that hurts everything. The Nasdaq, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can go back and look here what happened there on that spike. That was a disaster for stocks, indexes. It doesn't matter. So want to look for the Dixie here. I want to show you some important levels. You can see this green one here going back to 2018, 16, excuse me, 20, and then all the way across you can see here. And if you follow the green one here, we want to go to the daily. You can actually see that we are still within this overall wedging pattern here with the splitter inside there. And we actually had a dip below the long-term golden here, and now we're back above. And you can actually see here where we tagged it, on this Friday. Also some sort of smaller head and shoulders in the making. However, that is probably a false breakout, and we really need this to go south once again. If that happens, if the Dixie goes south here, that means that the gold to silver ratio will probably also be, we have that false breakout on the gold to silver ratio. So yeah, the 10-year yields, again, nothing really to add here. We had a huge sell-off from October all the way down from 5 to roughly 3.8. And now we are breaking out of that small trend line there. And we're hitting resistance where our previous support, which we also marked at roughly 4. Let's see what happens here again. If we can get above, then the next target is that big 4.3, which we also discussed many times on the way down. But yeah, let's see how big of a leg this can go to the upside. I do still think that actually we are going down to visit that yellow one here at some point in time, and ultimately we will have one last drop in rates, roughly 2.5, and then everything goes bananas after that. So that is my take on things. It doesn't happen tomorrow. It will need a year or two for that to happen, but yeah, so here we have oil actually looking very, it hasn't broken out yet, but you can see here this red, or what is it, purple, whatever it is. We're having a fourth touch here. We have cleared that internal yellow, which is nice. So I think actually now we are having a very good chance of breaking that downtrend here. Again, we haven't made any higher highs, but definitely that could be the higher low in the making. And we need to look out for a break here above 76. That would be ideal. And then actually I think we can go to roughly 83 in this move up here, and then we will see what happens. Long term, we can still see that we are in a, whoops, we are in a, there it is, some sort of big, we had a big breakout here, and then we're just retesting big many times that long-term, very long-term trend line from 2008. And I think we will just, at some point in time, it will blast higher, and oil will go in way higher, maybe in 2024, 2025 at least. So, but one thing at a time. Now we need to break that channel here. If we have a big deflationary bust, obviously this will have a very good chance of just breaking down to the downside and go way lower. But for now, it is what it is. Oh, palladium. I have been very excited to talk about this. Why? We discussed this all the way down here. What we wanted to see was a huge, breakdown here, and then we wanted it to snap back and then retest from above. We had quite similar-ish from what we usually see. We actually had two false breakdowns here, which I don't see very often. And then we had that big surge, which we looked for. And the ideal spot for it to stop was right there. We discussed it many times, retesting that golden trend line and the highs and the pivots right there. Clearly, we have gone into the channel once again, or the wedge. However, we have this scenario where we have roughly 10 trading days of red here. I'll look back in platinum to see if I can find any similar cases. I couldn't, and maybe you can, but definitely, I think this is just some sort of, how to call it, not manipulated, but some sort of last effort to just take out the bulls that were very bullish here, or the last hope. People think, it's going to go down. It is my take that we will find support here, and then we will crack higher again. I would be very surprised if this move here it doesn't result in a move to the upside. After that, obviously we can break down further, but this to me looks like a bottom for now. And if we have 10 trading days in a row with red candles, I mean, I think we'll have a green candle very soon. It could be around here, that internal blue. So definitely want to watch here. Again, I have my target that I think we will visit in 2024 here. That golden trend line at roughly $1,500 to $1,600. But yeah, definitely want to watch here. Hopefully, I mean, if you go to the 1 hourly, it's just, yeah, okay. I think we'll have some green days here very, very soon. And we want to get back above the wedge, obviously, and above that green, at a roughly 1100. Platinum, I will not go into much detail. Again, I just added these 2-3 lines here. That's the long-term golden. Again, we have broken it many times and we've played around with it, false breakouts. It's just one big chop around that golden trend line. But for me, this is the important part. There it is. Big inverted head and shoulders. And yes, I do think that we are going to crack that here, in 2024. And that's when things will finally unravel all this, huge move up here and then sideways action right there. We did get quite harshly rejected this week at that long-term golden trend line, so we need to get back above. Copper, I will go to the daily show. You can see here copper couldn't actually clear that $4 level, which that's where we turn really, really bullish. Now we're just going down here, and we are at that golden support. If we don't hold here, it is my take that we are going down to the lows right here. And as mentioned many times, within this range here, and that range is between 4 and 3.5. It is basically just a long chop here again. Below, bearish. If we get above at some point in time, very bullish. So yeah, it's big decision time right here, right now. And yeah, we will see. Actually, since we couldn't actually clear 4 here, yeah, I think definitely 3.5 is in the making here very shortly. Nat gas getting a big bounce at, that deep retest, very deep. We didn't make a new low, but it's a very deep retest after we broke out here. We're still in this very weird long bear flag. I don't think you can call it a bear flag, but a bearish channel nonetheless. And in my view, we're going to test that long-term blue trend line going back from here all the way down. I think that's where we're going. So let's see how it acts when it gets there, if it gets there, obviously. But I can't quite, understand if this is more bullish or bearish. I mean, this is just, there's a lot of things going on all over the place. Again, it's very, very cold here in Northern Europe. So let's see what happens. TTF, same thing. I will not go into that. That's just the European ticket, if you can call it that. Here we have coal futures. 2018 pivot there, holding still. We actually have a quite decent, you can see it right there, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if it holds here and we don't go crack below that there, then perhaps we can finally break that blue and actually try to make some sort of sideways bottom before we go higher for coal as well. So yeah, again, you do nothing, at least for now. You want to see the break, and then personally, I want to see, I don't think it will do like that. I want to see some sort of formation that could actually tell us, the direction afterwards. But Bitcoin, good old bitty Bitcoin. Again, I want to show you, we did reach our target from that inverse head and shoulders to roughly 41.5K. And ever since, it has actually acting as support. We did, however, break that shorter term trend line there. Within this bearish uptrend, can you call it a bearish uptrend? No, it's actually an uptrend. But this kind of flag here is not my specialty. But definitely, you can see here RSI going down and we're going up. So that is a loss of momentum. It doesn't mean that we're going to crash, but it just means that you should have some caution. It could mean that we also, we have attack of that upper trend line in that channel, but yeah, definitely if we crack below that support right now, I definitely could see us going all the way down to roughly 31K. There's not much support until we get down to here for Bitcoin. And with that big divergence, if you go look at the weekly, yeah, we're also pretty oversold. But again, oversold can also be a good thing, so you have to really be careful how you use the RSI. Many people use it incorrectly. The uranium spot price, no lines here again. As mentioned many times, I think we're going to 100. Again, this is a massive move up here. What happens here could be two things. This is a big gap from 2007, where we went from 130 down to 100 in 1 week, gap down, boom. What could happen here is that we get up to there, actually maybe three things, but if we get up to here, we get a huge rejection, given the fact that we have come so far, and then we will have to recharge. That's option number one, which is often seen. Again, it is the uranium spot price, and it is very, very thin. So maybe I'm biased to that's not happening. Again, could happen. Or we can come up here, start to, bullish sideways consolidation below. You can see different types of patterns there. It's all, but anyways, that would also be nice to see. And the third one, which people don't know much about, is that if you have such a huge gap here, sometimes it doesn't act as resistance. Maybe initially, but it could also be there's a huge vacuum here, and you can actually see a big swoop up here very quickly to fill that gap to the upper side. I don't see that often, but maybe uranium spot price is the place to see it. Hopefully, again, maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but that's definitely one to look for. Again, uranium spot price has done insanely well, up, I think, 80–90% last year. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. Sugar, we broke the green channel there, and you said we wanted to come down here to roughly 20. At that support, we came down to 20.11. Beautiful. And getting a tiny bounce here again. So that was a nice call. Let's see how high this can go. This could go all the way up and retest there. Depending on how long time it takes, the more bullish it is. But yeah, sugar again. I'm not invested in sugar now. I was in 2020 or was it 2021? I can't remember. Soybeans, good old soybeans. I'll remove that stuff there. You can see here again, false breakout. And as I mentioned many times, once you have a false breakout, you often go to what? The opposite side of the formation, the trend line there. So we had a breakout here, it was false. Now then we go to the opposite side. And I think that's exactly where we're going again. So we have a bit further to go, but we're still in this blue channel here, which is it's all right. However, we cannot lose the load here. We cannot start to break down there. Then I think it will be very devastating for the soybeans futures. Silver against M2 money supply. It still might take that this is a massive inverted head and shoulders in the making. Again, now we're back into that expanding formation right there. Some support on the way up there. But again, I do think we could actually go all the way down here and then hopefully find support again, and then we go higher. But long term, if you look at it here without any bias, that is some textbook stuff going on right there. Gold to M2 money supply has broken out, and also we broke that initial blue bull flag there, and now we're just grinding higher at the highs here of that trend line. When we break that, that is when silver breaks the all-time highs. Excuse me, gold breaks the all-time highs, and silver follows, you know, just a week or two later, maybe, just to have some sort of confirmation. So yeah, what to look for next week? Palladium with that 10 days of red. I'm expecting to see a lot more green than red, to be honest. And yeah, oil breaking that channel right there to see if we can break to the upside, and then we will probably go to in the 80s before we see any major resistances. That is all I had for you guys here on this Saturday. Yeah, as always, comment if you have anything to add, to agree, disagree. I'm all ears. Have a good one, guys, and hopefully you enjoyed the video. Cheers, bye.